They never wanted you to rise, only to break you. They threw stones at you, again and again, each one meant to hurt, to wound, to bury you under their hate. They laughed when you stumbled, they cheered when you fell. And when you lay there, bruised, broken, defeated, they thought it was over. They thought they had won. Pause. They were wrong, because they forgot one thing. A man who has nothing left to lose is the most dangerous man of all. You see, they wanted you weak, dependent. They wanted you crawling back, begging for their approval. But here's what they didn't expect. That every insult, every rejection, every betrayal would become the fuel that reignites your fire. You feel that? That weight pressing down on your chest. That's not weakness. That's power, waiting to be unleashed. But you've been wasting it, misusing it. You've been fighting the wrong battle. And that's exactly what they wanted. You've been fighting the wrong battle all along. You thought throwing their stones back would make you strong. You thought screaming, proving your worth, forcing them to see your value, would give you power. But what if I told you that's exactly what they wanted? They wanted your rage, your anger, your desperation. Because the moment you react, they own you, they control you. They dictate your every move. Look at the world around you. Weak men waste their energy screaming into the void, hoping someone will listen, hoping someone will care. But the truth, no one is listening. No one cares. That's why you need to stop. Stop explaining yourself. Stop proving yourself. Stop wasting your breath on people who were never meant to understand you. The world doesn't respect noise. It respects results. And results are built in silence. The strongest kings are built in silence. You don't need to fight them. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to seek revenge. You just need to build a throne. Fortress, an empire, not with noise, not with anger, but with discipline, with relentless focus, with absolute control. Because the moment you rise above their noise, the moment you stop playing their game, that's when they start to fear you. They don't fear the man who shouts. They don't fear the man who begs for respect. They fear the man who moves in silence, the man they can't read, the man who builds without asking for permission. So tell me, are you still going to waste your energy throwing back their stones? Or are you going to use them to build your throne? They never wanted you to see the truth. They wanted your reaction. They needed it. Because without it, they have nothing. Every insult, every rejection, every betrayal. It was never about you. It was about them, their weakness, their insecurity, their fear. They didn't hurt you because you were weak. They hurt you because they feared what you might become. Because if you rise, they lose control. And weak people, they don't want to see you rise. They want you chained to the past. They want you doubting yourself. They want you distracted, fighting battles that don't matter, wasting your strength on proving something to people who will never respect you. They want your energy, your mind, your soul, and you gave it to them, but not anymore. They used your pain against you, and you let them. They threw stones, hoping to break your bones. They thought if they hit you hard enough, you'd shatter. But here's what they never understood. A broken man is dangerous, because a man who has nothing left to lose has everything to gain. And a man who rebuilds, unstoppable. They don't fear your pain. They don't fear your suffering. They fear what happens when you stop caring, when you stop reacting, when you stop chasing, when you stop explaining. Because the moment you detach, when their words, their opinions, their hate mean nothing to you, that's when you become something they can never control. A force, a ghost, a king. Weak men react, strong men absorb. Pain is a tool. You either use it, or it uses you. Most men, they let pain destroy them. They drown in it. They beg for pity. They let it consume them until there's nothing left. But the few learn how to forge it into something else, something stronger, something unbreakable. Because pain can burn you alive, or it can turn you into fire itself. So tell me, which one are you? No one will hand you power. You must take it. The world owes you nothing, not a single thing. You could spend your life waiting for a chance, for an apology, for someone to recognize your worth. But no one is coming. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you power. They will watch you struggle. They will enjoy your suffering. They will whisper behind your back. They will bet against you. They will celebrate your failures. Because they don't want to see you rise. Because the moment you rise, they lose control. The moment you stop begging, they lose their power over you. And that's what they fear the most. Power isn't granted, it's seized. And the question is, will you take it? Diamonds are forged in silence, not in fire. They thought suffering would break you. They didn't know suffering would build you. They thought you'd burn in the fire. But diamonds aren't made in fire. They are made in silence, under pressure, in the dark, unseen by the world. Until one day, they emerge, unbreakable. You are not a victim. You are not weak. Your pain is your blueprint. Your silence is your weapon. And when the time is right, you will be untouchable. The difference between the weak and the ruthless. The weak, they wait. They wait to be acknowledged. They wait for permission. They wait for someone to give them what they should have taken for themselves. But the strong, they move in silence. They build, they create, they evolve. Until one day, they cannot be ignored. Weak men beg for validation. Strong men starve them of it. Weak men explain themselves. Strong men let their success do the talking. Weak men react. Strong men control the game. So tell me, which one are you? You are not a victim. You are becoming unstoppable. They called you weak. They laughed. They doubted. They underestimated you. Let them. Let them think they've won. Let them think they broke you. Because when you rise, you won't just survive, you will dominate. And when they finally realize what you've become, it will be too late. Your story isn't over, it's just beginning. They expect you to fight back. They expect you to break. They expect you to waste your energy proving something to them. Because the moment you react, you play by their rules. They poke, they prod, they whisper, and you react. You give them exactly what they want. But the moment you stop, the moment you don't answer their insults, the moment you don't flinch at their games, everything changes. They don't fear your anger, they fear your silence. Because silence is power. It leaves them confused. It leaves them unsettled. It forces them to question themselves. And when they can't predict your next move, that's when they start to crumble. The wolf and the sheep, why they fear the quiet ones. A lion doesn't chase rats. A wolf doesn't bark at sheep. And a king doesn't explain himself. He doesn't waste words on those beneath him. He doesn't lower himself to their level. He moves in silence. Because the quiet ones, the patient ones, they are the ones you should fear. They don't show their hand. They don't announce their plans. They wait. They watch. They strike when the time is right. And when they move, it's already too late. They can't read your silence. They can't predict your next move. And that terrifies them. They thought they had power over you. Now watch them crumble. They thought they could control you. They thought they could manipulate you. They thought they owned your mind. But when you gave them nothing, they started to fall apart. They expected you to fight. They expected you to beg. They expected you to seek their validation. But instead, you walked away. You gave them nothing. And nothing is the deadliest response of all. Because now, they're the ones haunted by your absence. They're the ones chasing. They're the ones left behind. And you've already won. Revenge isn't what you think it is. Most people think revenge is about striking back, proving a point, making them feel your pain. They think if they can just hurt them back, they'll find peace. But that's not power, that's desperation. Because the moment you go after them, you're still playing their game. You're still chained to them, still needing their validation, their downfall, their suffering, just to feel whole again. And that's weakness. The real revenge. Giving them nothing at all. No words, no reaction, no emotion. Because when you walk away, when they no longer exist to you, that's when they start to suffer. They expected you to beg. They expected you to fight. They expected you to prove yourself to them. But you didn't. You left them behind. And that's when the obsession began. They will watch from the shadows. They will study your every move. They will wonder why you don't care anymore. Why you don't react. Why you aren't the same person they once knew. And it will destroy them. Because nothing is more painful than realizing you never needed them to begin with. There was a man once. A man who was betrayed, mocked, humiliated. And so, he waited. He plotted. He calculated. He prepared for the perfect moment to strike. Years passed. The day finally came. The moment he had dreamed of. The moment he had planned for. And when it was finally time to destroy them, he felt nothing. Because by then, he had already won. He had built his empire. He had outgrown his enemies. He no longer needed revenge. because their failure was inevitable, and his success was his silence. You don't destroy them. They destroy themselves. Their hatred will eat them alive. Their obsession will turn into self-destruction. They will try to chase you. They will never catch up. They will try to understand. But they will never figure it out. And in the end, they will be the ones left behind. Because you never needed to fight them. You just needed to outgrow them. No one cares about your pain, and that's your advantage. You think they care? You think they'll come to save you? You think someone will notice your suffering, reach out, tell you that you matter? No one is coming. No one cares. And that's exactly why you'll win. Because once you accept that truth, nothing can hurt you anymore. Their words, meaningless. Their doubts, irrelevant. Their hate, fuel. Weak men cry for sympathy. Strong men embrace the indifference. When you finally stop waiting for someone to understand you, that's when you become dangerous. Because now you don't need anyone. Power demands sacrifice, and that includes your old self. You cannot rise while clinging to weakness. You cannot step into power while holding on to the past. Because the man you were before, he cannot come with you. He was too emotional. He was too fragile. He needed approval. And now it's time to let him go. A snake must shed its skin to grow. A warrior must bleed before he becomes a king. And you must kill your old self before you can rise. This is the price of evolution. This is the cost of greatness. Most people aren't willing to pay it. Freedom is cold, but it's the only way to be untouchable. Most people chase validation. They fear being alone. They fear silence, because silence forces them to confront who they really are. But you don't need anyone. Because true power is being untouchable. It's walking alone and not feeling lost. It's knowing that no one can break you, because no one has control over you. And that is the ultimate freedom. This is the moment where most people give up. They go back to their old life. They seek comfort. They become ordinary. They tell themselves it's too hard. They tell themselves it's not worth it. They fear the next step. Pause. But you are not most people. Most people accept mediocrity. Most people are afraid of power. Most people will never see the other side. But you are not most people. And this is the moment that separates you from them forever. You have two choices. You can keep chasing, keep explaining, keep begging for respect from people who will never understand you. Or you can stop. You can let your silence haunt them. You can let your absence be their punishment. Because the moment you stop screaming, the moment you stop caring, the moment you walk away and never look back, that's the moment they will never forget you. Cinematic pause, your move. They wanted you to blend in, to be like them, to stay in your place. But that was never your destiny. You weren't meant to fit in. You were meant to stand above. You were meant to dominate. And now it's time to step into that reality. No more hiding. No more waiting. No more explaining. So stand tall, walk alone, and let them watch from below. They threw stones to break you. They thought they buried you. They thought you would never rise. But instead, you built a throne, a fortress, an empire. And now they bow, fade to black.